What's up guys, Everything Apple Pro here, and I'm so excited to finally be making this video. Apple's been making iPhones for 10 years already. If you've been using them since the original, it has been 10 years. It's really hard to believe. And that's why in this video, I wanted to make a little anniversary, a look back and compare Apple's latest iPhone 10, the amazing iPhone 10, to the original. What started it all? The genuine first generation iPhone. And there are so many things to talk about. That's why I wanted to geek out and really get into detail about what's changed in 10 years, because sometimes you really think about it, you're like, what's really changed? But I wanted to break it down in this video. The new iPhone 10 is actually spectacular. It's amazing. It's everything I wanted it to be, but there were some humble beginnings here. So let's start with the actual unboxing. The boxes have even changed over time. Before, they used to be big and bulky, partly due to the accessories, which were large, but opening it up, you'd find plastic inside, and it wasn't as neatly organized as it is now. Still, it had that genuine Apple feeling, and hey, I even have the original stickers here with my packaging. These are getting harder and harder to find, so if you have old iPhone packaging, definitely don't be throwing it away. But nowadays, you're not going to find this kind of plastic inside. Apple's all about composting, all paper material, stuff like that. And by the way, this iPhone on iOS 1.1.1 actually matches the cover. It's not often it does. Also, I noticed something. The original iPhone had a time of 942 versus 941 on the newer one. What's up with that? Not really sure. So that's the original iPhone packaging. The new one, I'm sure you're all familiar with. There's probably a million videos out on YouTube, but it is still a special experience opening it up. Everything is packaged so neatly. It gives you a little sneak peek at that Apple ecosystem. It starts at the box and moves on from there. So I would definitely argue that these things haven't changed much. Yes, the iPhone 10 has become flatter, thinner, larger, but the overall design, the shape, the side curvature, everything is the same. And I love that the iPhone 10 has returned to its original form where you can almost use it with one hand. The original iPhone was so tiny you could definitely reach anywhere on that display with one finger, but overall I'd say both are very comfortable devices. The iPhone 10 is certainly true to its nature, being very comfortable and a slippery, sleek design, much like the original iPhone. At the time, most phones had keyboards and pop-out, fold-out features. It was so different than the competition. It's also kind of a cool coincidence that the original iPhone does have a sleek stainless steel border on the front of the phone. At the time, it matched Apple's aesthetics, but it's cool that the iPhone 10 also has a stainless steel border as well. Now, the build and durability of the first iPhone was legendary. It was built like a tank, one of Apple's sturdiest and thickest designs for the iPhone. Ever since this, they've been getting thinner and thinner, so it did hold up very well. It's also quite a coincidence that the new one, to me personally, was almost indestructible. I couldn't destroy it no matter what I tried. I dropped it from many different scenarios, doing many different things, and it held up amazingly, just like the iPhone did in my tests. So I thought that was pretty cool. Stays true to its form in terms of durability as well. It's quite amazing how similar the new iPhone is in sort of a throwback way to the original. So actually getting into using these things, you would unlock the original with a slide to unlock. Now that's returned with the iPhone 10 with a slide up. If you don't have a passcode, you just slide up and it jumps right in, but with Face ID, there's one extra step involved. You do have to wait for your face to authenticate. So I thought that that was a neat little touch. Apple returned that. And it gets even better. Since this is a 10th anniversary iPhone, Apple did include the original wallpaper, but an improved version of it, of the Earth wallpaper. I thought that was cool. Also, there are 19 wallpapers on the first iPhone and on the new one, exactly 19. Now, the power buttons on both of these are incredibly comfortable to use. Apple made the new one on the iPhone 10 longer, easier to press, and the first one was just on the top, so it was pretty comfy. Passcode situation on the original was pretty dire, just a 4-digit passcode. On the new one, you had Face ID. So definitely a huge difference in terms of security. Now, ever since the first iPhone, the distinguishing feature of an iPhone was the home button. That's been removed on the iPhone 10. I guess replaced by the top notch. You can instantly identify it's an iPhone 10 by that, but it's a bit interesting life without a home button. The gestures, I gotta say, are amazing. They have made transitioning from a home button state to a no home button state so much easier. And I'd even say it's hard for me to go back to a home button after seeing how much easier it is to live with an iPhone 10. For example, the original iPhone, you kind of see how this is a flawed logic. You have to wait for the app to close, the animation to finish before you could switch, while on the iPhone 10, you can instantly switch between applications without having to wait at all. It's instant gratification in the flesh. I'd definitely say that the gestures make the iPhone 10 what it is. Without it, it definitely wouldn't be as enjoyable to use. So I'd also like to mention the displays. How could I not? This is the biggest, the most drastic difference between the two. Where there used to be bezel, a bottom bar, there is nothing now, just pure screen, organic LED goodiness. The difference between the TFT LCD display on the iPhone versus the organic LED wraparound display is mind-boggling. The size of it, the scope of it, it's edge to edge, the color, the clarity, the viewing angles, the resolution bump, the sharpness, it is insane how different it is. Also, the display seems to sit on top of the glass. It's not below it, sunken inside of it. The iPhone had many layers in between the actual panel and the top layer. Also, if you look at it from an angle, it's like you can't even see your display anymore. I guess sort of a privacy security feature on the original iPhone, but on the iPhone X, one of the advantages of the organic LED display panel is the viewing angles. As you can see, it's a world of difference here. Also, the color clarity, deeper, richer colors, as well as blacks. The blacks are just pure black. They blend in with the bezels seamlessly, which is awesome. There's so much difference here just in the displays. Can you imagine the first iPhone had one of the most revolutionary smartphone displays when it went onto market, and now you can fit it into the corner of the iPhone X just like that. Reversed, the iPhone X, it shows up super big on the original iPhone's 320 by 480 display. In fact, you can fit the first iPhone's display about 15 times into the iPhone X's display. That's 1125 by 2436 pixels. Amazing. As far as software goes, 10 years makes a huge difference. The original iPhone is now on iOS 3.1.3, but it did originally ship with iPhone OS 1.0, devoid of any features, devoid of anything like swiping back, moving apps, copy paste, stuff like that. You couldn't even take a screenshot. The calculator, though, was superior. It didn't get that issue where quickly typing in 1 plus 2 plus 3 gave you a wrong answer. Eventually, on iOS 3.1.3, it did get a lot of the features like copy and paste, which a lot of Android competitors at the time already had, but it was good to have on iOS, and screenshots finally came around. Now on iOS 11.0, it is so much better. Living with this firmware is better. Yes, it's buggy, so much buggier than the original, but it's faster, it's fluid, and it only gets better as Apple adds more and more features. It's so awesome to follow up on the updates in general. So in terms of actual raw power, there also is a huge difference here. A Samsung made chip that was 0.4 gigahertz that could handle stuff like this. I mean, it is so terrible. It is laughable, but at the time it was legendary to be able to use your accelerometer to play games. It was awesome, I gotta say. And this actually died on me, literally just died on me while playing. The iPhone X, we are spoiled, and if you guys have never had the original iPhones, you will never know where we came from. I mean, playing this kind of stuff, console quality games on your iPhone is pretty incredible. It is a little annoying on the iPhone X with the top notch. You do get used to it, but still, it's pretty cool to get that immersive full screen experience. Playing games like that is so cool. I've never experienced something like this on a smartphone. Even the Galaxy doesn't do it this well because it's not really edge to edge like the iPhone X is, so I thought that was pretty cool. Gaming is a world of difference between the two. So getting into the more basic stuff like power and charging, the original iPhone was charged with a cable that wasn't even reversible. You had to put it in the right way, otherwise it wouldn't go in or it felt like it was breaking. Now we have this fancy wireless charging on the iPhone X that has made my life so much more convenient. Actual battery power between the two, the first iPhone didn't even last a day. Many people had to charge it twice throughout the day. Now my iPhone X comfortably lasts an entire day and more if I really start to conserve. And comparing actual cameras is very fun. Back in the day when the iPhone just had a camera, that's it. It had a camera. That was the only spec it needed. No autofocus, no flash, no video, just a 2 megapixel camera. Actually comparing these images is pretty mind-blowing, seeing the difference between them. Although the original isn't too bad, it just seems super foggy. Like there is a film of fog over every picture you take. There's no detail, color, or life in any of the photos you take. Now on the iPhone X, it's perfectly suited to take a great picture every single time. All of these settings are automatically adjusted on the fly. Even selfies are possible now without front-facing camera. You don't have to reverse your phone every single time. It's just amazing how far we've come in the camera game alone, and I think Apple is pretty close to being on top with their cameras. Convenient stuff like Bluetooth headphones with the AirPods was a world we didn't really get to experience, or not me, I never had the original iPhone, but people back then. The closest thing to AirPods I'd have to say is the iPhone Bluetooth headset. It was actually pretty sophisticated, I'd say, at the time for what it was. You had to charge each one manually, but then again, you only had one. If you really wanted that AirPods experience, I wonder if this would work, but pairing it up with two and then trying to hack it and sync it somehow to play music, I wonder if that would work at all. I just thought that was interesting. But these share a striking resemblance to the AirPods. So there it is, guys, my comparison of Apple's first iPhone to Apple's newest iPhone. The difference is incredible. Just being able to sit here and overview both of these, compare them, was pretty awesome. And I hope you guys enjoyed it with me. It has been an amazing 10 years. This is what the culmination of 10 years has brought us. Can you imagine another 10 years from now? Will we even have phones? What'll it be then? I'm so excited, and I hope I'm here 10 years from now to share that journey with you. But thanks for watching, guys. It has been a pretty sobering experience to see this 10-year change. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace.